bad idea. I totally agree with that. If you look at, I'm not talking about the stores and buying underwear or paper towels or whatever. Everybody ran out and bought out all the paper towels and the toilet paper, which I was like, oh my God, these people are morons. Um, but anyway, that's going to happen again, by the way. So stock up on dry goods. Um, I'll probably post this within the next couple of days. So uh, you never hear what who says now because they change your mind. Fauci. Go back and look at what he said at the beginning and just follow it. He changed his minds probably more times than you change a newborn's diaper, baby's diaper. And anybody that's had kids, it's a lot of diaper changes. I've changed diapers. I've changed so many friggin' diapers because, guys, you can change shitty diapers too. It's not fun. Sometimes it's really nasty smelling and it's messy. But hey, nothing wrong with helping out. It's your kid. It takes two to make that kid. Your time is only very short-lived, and then the mom carries the kid for 9 months. So yeah, she does more of that end of it. But in a way, I think that all parents should help raise a kid, be with the kid, discipline. Both the mom and dad need to do disciplining, not just one-sided. There we go, off track. Sorry about that. Well, I'm not really sorry. I don't care. So anyway, he changed his mind so many times. Well, wear a mask. No, masks don't do any good. At the beginning, he even said, he goes, masks don't. You don't need to lock down the country. You don't need to stop people from coming in from China. When Trump did that, everybody bashed him. Oh, xenophobia. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like xeno, I don't know. But they called him xenophobic, racist again, of course. And a whole bunch of other stuff because he stopped travel from China and then from Europe. Terrible thing to do. Pelosi, during all this, at that time frame, where was she? She was in San Francisco. Come on down to Chinatown, everything's open, have a good time. Nothing to fear, don't worry about the Corona. Can you take de Blasio, let's say? He was telling everybody to get out. Come on downtown, whatever, it's all cool. And then they all bashed Trump for, what he did, which was right to begin with. Then he says, okay, wear a mask. Then he says, well, the mask wearing is more to stop you from spreading it to other people. Well, people, bad news for you. This is on CDC's own website. Research, it's buried deeper in their site. Research shows that viruses, if it's not an N95 mask, which are the better masks, and believe me, they're hard to breathe through. It's a killer. I use those when I'm doing sanding on drywall because the particles are so fine. But anyway, properly fit. If you have any beard like this, wearing a mask, even an N95 mask, it's not going to do you any good. The mask has to fit tight. Well, anyway, the point is viruses. I won't specifically say the China virus, or the Wuhan virus, or the COVID-19, or the coronavirus, because they'll say, well, that hasn't been proven. Anyway, viruses are very, very small. They will pass through, doing your shirt like that, they'll pass through, this time, wait a minute, I believe I have my mask. Oh, no, I don't. Yeah, it's in my, it's in the house. I had a VA appointment today. Anyway, the virus is so small that it passes through pretty much, if it's anything less than an N95 mask, a virus will pass through it. Well, it's to keep you from spreading it. Well, wait a minute. Everybody knows bright eyes. Oh man, you're cold. Must be cold on the floor. so the cotton masks, the ones you order, anyway, all of those, you know, the little green paper type masks that don't even fit tight, uh, that's all useless. It's not going to stop a virus from going through it. The way that I feel about the whole mask mandate, which Biden's going to do, is it should be up to the individual. Because why is it you have the right to say, well, you need to wear a mask? Well, wait a minute. You wear a mask because you feel, if I wear a mask, I'm protected. The virus won't get through. So what are you worried about then? You know, you see these idiots driving down the road with a mask. Only person in the car, and they wear a mask. I love that. It's humorous. It's like, are you afraid of catching the virus in your own car? It's just nuts. I've never worried about catching the virus. I really don't care about the virus. The numbers that they say people have died from the virus, I don't remember what state it was, but I've seen an interview with the senator, and somebody had pointed out a bunch of facts. They got a bunch of facts together from their state and said, please read this. So she went over the paperwork that the guy gave her, and she really didn't understand a lot of it, so she took it to people who know numbers. And they figure, and she wants it investigated, she figures, and the people that did the work for her, estimate that their state, one state alone, that the death rate blamed on the corona is about 40% above what it should be. Meaning, example, somebody died in a car accident and was thrown from the vehicle and they were dead on the scene. Cause of death is listed, top cause. Usually they list three different things. They can, many as they need. Corona. So corona caused that guy to get in an accident and throw him out of the vehicle, and he died on the side of the road, so he has corona. Come on. Does that really make any sense, people? There's dozens of cases to where cause of death they list, well, how old were they? Well, they were 96 years old. Maybe old age killed them, but it's listed as corona because the hospitals get a certain amount of money for that. And all the YouTube videos that were put out talking about the death rate and the drugs that Trump supported early on were all taken down, Even doctors, it's like the censorship is just beginning, people. Yeah, because Harris and Biden, right now, when Facebook and all of them have the ability to take President Trump off the air, off of his platform, that's too much power. It is protected. He wanted to take away the protection. The Dems and the left want to keep it. So guess what? They kept even the swamp Republicans like Lindsey Graham. He bailed on Trump. All of them bailed. Not all of them, but most of them bailed. Even Pence bailed. 4 states sent letters to him asking him, would you please send the delegates back to our state so we can correct the wrongs. 4 states, people, asked Vice President Pence to do that for him, to send it back so they could correct the wrongs, and he wouldn't do it. He refused to do it. And they say there's no voter fraud or it hasn't been proven. Like I said, dead people voting, I don't know what you call that. But the whole numbers, none of it adds up if you actually look at it. Biden won the presidency. So you say, okay, he won it fair and square, then I would be, hey, no problem. He hid in his basement. He doesn't know what he's saying half the time. So Trump got 74 million votes. 12, I think that's 10 or 12 million more than he had in 2016. He won 14 of the bellwether counties. Those counties have had the prediction of the presidency for the last 40 years dead on. 14 of those counties went for Trump, but Biden wins. Anyway, I could go into a bunch of that, but they'd probably ban this video, so I'm not going to go into that. So anyway, back to Harris being president. They're also going to pack the Supreme Court. What that means is they're going to add as many justices as they need, so that they'll always, you want to go out square? So that they'll always do what they want them to do. Supreme Court, I can't believe they turned down hearing the president, or Texas, and 13 other states altogether filed, in with the Supreme Court, and it's a constitutional, not state constitution. Those were broke also, but not state constitution. The United States Constitution of the United States was broken, and the Supreme Court, what do? They are there to uphold the United States Constitution, and yet they refuse to hear the case. Again, maybe I'm an idiot, I know I'm a deplorable. How can you explain that? You're there as a court to uphold the U.S. Constitution. The United States Constitution was broke, clearly, and, well, we're not going to hear the case. That makes absolutely no sense. So anyway, they're going to pack the Supreme Court. They're going to add Washington, D.C., which is the District of Columbia. You want to go out, sweetie? Okay. You want to go out? Too many interruptions. Jeez. Come on, hurry up. You're too slow. Come on. Let's let up. We're doing a video too. Hey, stop the smell of insulation. Come on. Nothing to see here. Come on. There's no fraud here. Nothing to see. Just drop it. No fraud. There you go. Alright, none of that was on video, so it didn't happen. It's fake news. No fraud here, people. See, then I get sidetracked now. I don't know what I was saying. Fat belly. I hate that, man. Anyway, so you're going to have, Supreme Court packing. You're going to have Washington, D.C. as a state. You're going to have Puerto Rico as a state. That adds that many more for Senate seats. That'll be Democratic, because Washington, D.C. is always Democratic. That's where all the payoffs are. That's where the swamp is. As far as Pence being part of the swamp, that's what I was saying earlier, is there was a high-level leak in the White House. Trump and his people could never figure out who was leaking information. Well, as soon as Pence decided to go with the Dems and not send and not contest the election results, then I'm like, he's part of the swamp. He was the inside leak. He had to be. Because he would not, why would you, something you have the power to do, and the states four states ask you to send it back to them so they can double everything, go back and check it out, make sure they correct the wrong, and he wouldn't do it. That means you're part of the swamp. He was the leak. And I always thought Pence was a good guy. Totally wrong on that one, I guess. Anyway, well, come on. This is Shadow. Everybody knows who Shadow is. This ought to be rattling on continuously. And Trump also being a racist, his daughter married a Jew. He moved the to Jerusalem, anyway, if he was racist against the Jews, then he wouldn't have moved the embassy to Jerusalem like that. A lot of presidents said they were going to do it, they never did. Trump put America first. Oh, that's terrible. How is putting your country ahead of all the other countries in the world, how can that be a negative? Oh, the other countries do it. You think China is sitting over there saying, no, we got to put the United States first. We can be second. We'll be in the background here. No, every country out there, and Trump's wrong for saying that. And when he spoke in front of the United Nations and a lot of the economic forums and all that, he told them, I'm putting the United States of America first. Just like you put your country first, as you should. Look it up, people. And Trump got bashed for that. And I've always felt this country needs to be put back on top. We lost respect in Vietnam. A lot of our guys went over there, a lot of veterans. I'm a veteran myself. I went in just at the tail end of the war, so I didn't get to go over there. But my brother went in '68. I had an uncle that went in, turned out to be an alcoholic after he got back from Vietnam. Baby killers, spit on, disrespected. Even the VFW halls wouldn't let him join. That's Veterans of Foreign Wars. Anyway, they were treated horribly. And people didn't look at, oh, you're a baby killer. I got a kid coming at me, strapped with an explosive vest. You can see he's strapped with that vest. You know what he's going to do.